7 local teams entered the playoffs Friday night. When the smoke cleared at the end of the evening, only 2 were left standing. We're going to talk about all these things on the Gridiron Central Scoreboard Show coming up now. Welcome to the Gridiron Central Scoreboard Show. I'm your host, Jim Alred. I wish I was here on a happier time. Unfortunately, a lot of our teams could not get the key plays to get the wins Friday night. Let's start off. White County 52, Adairsville 28. Don't let the school fool you. The Tigers were within 10 points late in this game. White County was able to score a couple of touchdowns late to put it away. Calhoun 42, Manchester 9. At halftime, it was tied 3-3, and everybody around the state was going, what is going on? We'll talk a little bit more about this game after a little while. Calhoun is going to advance to play Greater Atlanta Christian next week at home. Greater Atlanta Christian beat Raven Gap 34-0 Friday night. Sandy Creek 63, Cedartown 10. The Bulldogs were down 14-0 within the first couple of minutes of the game. Sandy Creek, the defending Class 4A champions, were just too much for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs finished the season 9-2. Bowden 20, Model 10. The Blue Devils played very well on defense, just a couple of mistakes here and there. Bowden was able to take advantage of them. The Red Devils win. Model ends its season at 7-4. Heard County 27, Pepperell 14. The Dragons gave Heard a fight. Again, just a couple of mistakes here and there, keeping the Dragons away from winning. Again, Pepperell finishes their season. Heard County moves on. Buford 58, Sonoraville 0. Of course, the Phoenix reached the playoffs for the first time in school history. Football playoffs in first time in school history. Of course, Buford, the Class AAA defending state champion. If you're a longtime watcher of this show, you know Buford usually has pretty good success when they play our teams. Again, they did Friday night. Ringgold 55, North Hall 54. If my math serves me correctly, that's 109 points scored between the two teams. Ringgold advances to the second round of the Class AAA playoffs. They will play Cedar Grove, which would beat Elbert County in 4 overtimes. So Ringgold will actually host next week. Ringgold was the number 2 seed out of Region 5 AAA. But Cedar Grove was the number 4 out of its region, so they'll get a home game next week. Where's Tryon? Where's Darlington? Class A playoffs start next week. Tryon will be on the road at Irwin County in the Class A public school playoffs. Darlington will be at home against Christian Heritage in the private school playoffs. Right after this commercial break, you'll see some highlights of Model's game with Bowden.
Begin your future at Georgia Northwestern Technical College. We offer degrees, diplomas, and certificates in over 200 programs of study. Choose a career in business, health, industrial, or public service. With the flexibility of day, evening, and online classes at any of our 5 campus locations, getting your education at GNTC has never been more convenient. There are many financial aid options available, including student loans. Apply now. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Your college, your town, your future.
Welcome back to the show. Model hit the road Friday night to play Bowden in the hopes of getting its first playoff victory since the 1980s.
Here come the Blue Devils. Let's go, kick off. Bowden will be last hunt. There it is. Stop. It's over there. What it is, Now number 6, coming in on the ball in the end zone. Touchdown. Black hole kick is up and it's good. O'Neal drops the pass and he throws it out. O'Neal drops back the pass.
They played their hearts out. Well, I can't, I can't say nothing about the great effort. That's a ball game. Just flat out honest, and I think what's going to hurt the most is that we felt like we could win that game, and we had our opportunities to win the game. They block a punt for a touchdown, and then we get the ball down on the 8-yard line, throw interception. There's a lot more plays in the game than that. But, we had opportunities, and we put ourselves in good position, but we couldn't finish the task.
Begin your future at Georgia Northwestern Technical College. We offer degrees, diplomas, and certificates in over 200 programs of study. Choose a career in business, health, industrial, or public service. With the flexibility of day, evening, and online classes at any of our 5 campus locations, getting your education at GNTC has never been more convenient. There are many financial aid options available, including student loans. Apply now. Georgia Northwestern Technical College. Your college, your town, your future.
Normally at this time of the show, I have 5 or 6 takeaways to talk about from the total night. Not tonight. I'll have a few. I may have 5 takeaways, but it's going to be tough to do that. First off, congratulations to all the teams that made the playoffs. They had great years, and one loss does not make a bad season. Model had a good season. Adairsville had a good season. Pepperell had a good season, especially Pepperell coming back late when it looked in mid-October like they weren't even going to make the playoffs. Sonorville reaching the playoffs for the first time ever. Cedartown going 9-1 in the regular season. Sometimes you run up against a very good team in the first round of the playoffs, and there's not much you can do. Kudos to all those teams. For every team that made the playoffs and didn't win, the key is take this momentum, take what you learn into the offseason. Work hard the next 8 or 9 months. Get ready for that 2014 season. We will have reclassification for next season, so the regions will look different, so we could see some region rivalry shift, maybe make it easier, maybe make it harder to get in the playoffs. We'll wait and see. Ringgold, wow, the Tigers 55-54. Obviously not a defensive struggle, but Ringgold scored enough points to win, and they'll get a home playoff game next week against Cedar Grove in the second round. The Tigers are in great shape to possibly be able to advance on to the third round. Kudos to Ringgold on that. Calhoun, we've talked about Calhoun all year long, that this Calhoun team does not seem quite as good as the Calhoun teams we've been used to seeing. And I've said it a lot of times, I think the defense is right there. The offense is still a work in progress. Guess what? Next week, we'll find out if the offense remains a work in progress next week, Calhoun may go home. The last time Calhoun lost a home playoff game was against Greater Atlanta Christian. Who do they play next week? Greater Atlanta Christian. On the Wednesday preview show, we will break down that matchup just a little bit more to see how everything's going. Of course, I already mentioned Class A. That starts next week. We'll wait and see. We began the night with 7. Actually, technically, we began the night with 9 teams in the playoffs. We now have 4. That counts our 2 single A teams that did not play. Hopefully, after next week, we'll still have 4. We'll have to stick around and wait and see. If you missed any of the action, come to PrepCentralOnline.com. We have articles and photos, video highlights from some of the games. And, of course, come back to us Wednesday for the preview show where we will break down our 4 remaining teams in the playoffs, see who might win, who might lose, and which of our teams actually have a chance to get to the Georgia Dome. For Kevin Myrick, I'm Jim Alred saying we'll see you on the sidelines.